At just 18 years old, I bought my dream car and started making over $20,000 a month with my agency. And honestly, if a kid like me from the middle of nowhere, Connecticut can do it, so can you. I'm gonna be showing you guys how I went from knowing absolutely nothing about Facebook ads or social media marketing to having one of the fastest growing agencies in the space. And to be honest, in this video, I'm going to be talking about a lot of the mistakes that I've made, so it might just speed up your journey as well. So let's get right into it. So to start, I'm just going to talk about who I was before I started my agency and before I had really gotten into the online money-making space. I was exactly like you would expect. I was kind of a little chubby kid. I just liked playing the game all the time. I would play so much Rocket League and so much Fortnite and so much Minecraft. I was just a little dweeb. I didn't really play sports too much, but I had a real drive for being good at those games. I'll tell you, I was cracked, bro. I was really good.
And he's cracked at Fortnite, my guy.
I was playing those things for like 10 to 12 hours a day. Like, it was bad. At least I had the consistency to show up every day, but regardless, it wasn't getting me anywhere. And I kind of started to realize that once I became like a sophomore in high school. That was around the time when I started to feel kind of lost and I didn't really know what to do. All my friends were playing sports or super focused on school, and the only thing that I really had going for me was those games. And now that I kind of realized I was getting too old for that, I didn't know what my next step should be or what I should focus on. And it really took a toll on me. It was at 16 when I got my first job in junior year. I was working at Subway, and I'll tell you right now, that's when I realized that working a job for the rest of my life was not going to be it for me. And I had kind of been familiar with some of the other options before. I mean, of course, I had seen people online like even Brez or TJR or Andrew Tate. You know, he actually really was the first one to open my mind into this stuff, which is crazy to say. I feel like no one has mentioned him in a while. It's a bad name to mention. But back when I was probably 15 or 16, I paid for his little $50 Hustlers University. And that's when I was actually introduced to all these different business models. I didn't know how people were making money online. I just knew that they were. I tried to get into copywriting with Andrew Tate. Probably did that for about 3 weeks before I gave up and realized, bro, what am I doing? But I'm not going to lie, it did open my eyes and show me what is actually possible and that there were people making money with these things online. The next thing that I tried was day trading. And I know everyone says that, but I used to sit in class and look at the charts on my little Webull paper trading and try to figure out how I was going to be the next TJR and how I could work 1 hour a day and make $10,000 a day, right? I was really bad. I never had a profitable trade. I was absolutely terrible. And to be honest, all these little flings that I had with these business models never lasted more than a few months. Another thing that I tried that's super embarrassing to admit is I tried to sell an ebook. I actually sat down and I wrote an ebook and I posted on my TikTok trying to promote it by doing money spreads, right? That's what I thought was going to get me rich. I thought that was, the method, and I had cracked it. Nobody bought my ebook. Not one person bought my ebook. Finally, I was going into my freshman year of college. So all of this had been happening while I was still working at Subway, just trying to figure things out, make some money, get good grades, whatever. I graduated high school and I was going to the gym at the time, and I saw this guy with a Lamborghini. And I decided, hey, I'm going to go talk to him. I'm going to go see what he does for work. And he told me he does real estate wholesaling. I was sold as soon as he said that. He said, pay me $50. I'll teach you how to do it. I paid him $50 and I tried to do real estate wholesaling. And he really convinced me that this was going to change my life. I had gone to community college, enrolled for being a rad tech, like radiology. I was so convinced that I was going to get rich from real estate wholesaling that I dropped out of college after one day. I stayed in college for one day before I dropped out to fully commit to real estate wholesale. And I'll just cut to the chase. 2 months later, I realized I wasn't going to make any money and that it wasn't cut out for me. So now we're in about September. We're in about September or October of what was supposed to be my freshman year of college. I'm freshly 18 years old and I'm lost. I feel like I've tried everything. I did trading. I tried drop shipping. I tried selling an ebook. I tried wholesale. I tried day trading. I tried everything, it felt like, and I didn't know what to do. Mind you, I'm still working at Subway. All my friends are in college, studying for their degree, going out to parties, having fun, and I just feel guilty and I feel lost. And I was in this exact room. And that's when I found out about brand scaling. And I didn't really know what it was. I didn't really know what Facebook ads were. All I saw was a video of Brez saying that he makes $100,000 a month. And I was sold once again, just like that. He got me. But the difference with this is I wasn't the same person that I was when I tried all those other things. I was ready to make it work. I was dedicated to making it work. And I told myself I wasn't going to stop until I made it work. So while everyone else was studying, going on winter break, having fun, I don't know, doing whatever you do in college, I was there beginning of October learning about this new skill that I had never even heard of before. Running ads for businesses, local, service-based, or online e-commerce stores, whatever. I had no idea what I was doing, but I told myself I wasn't going to stop until I made $10,000. And I'll be honest with you, the first 4 months of me doing it, I didn't make a dime. The first month of me doing it, I was just learning, trying, outreaching. I signed a few clients, but not a single one of them made me any money. Second month, I actually had a very big jump. I was flown down to Atlanta, and I worked with a few artists down there. None of them made me any money. Once again, I'll tell you. So that whole month of me being in Atlanta, probably spending all that money on the plane ticket and everything, I walked out negative $300. And of course, the only reasonable thing to do at this point is to quit your job. So I stopped working at Subway. I quit my job and decided that I have to make this work. The proof of concept was there. I was flown out, right? Or I was invited. I flew down, stayed with these guys for a month, working on projects. There has to be something here. I know that there's something. How am I going to make it official? How am I going to make that first 10K? How am I going to make that first 20K? So I kept trying. All of December, nothing happened. All of January, nothing happened. I worked every day trying to make it work, trying to outreach, trying to fix my scripts or figure out new strategies or find new niches or do anything that would actually make it work, and nothing was clicking. And I really felt like I hit rock bottom in that January. This was January 2025. I went down to New York to try to meet up with a potential client who had a clothing brand, big clothing brand. I went down there and he canceled on me. Not his fault, things happen. And I'm down there and I'm at this sneaker con, trying to talk to everyone, trying to sign a client. In person, genuinely pitching in person to every single brand that was there at SneakerCon trying to sell their clothes. Not a single one was interested. I spent hours, paid like my last few $100s to go down to New York. As I'm there, you want to know, such a crazy pull, but who I see pull up, mind you, I'm sitting here shivering, probably on the verge of frostbite, $100 in my bank account total. I see a boogie with a hoodie pull up in a blacked out G-Wagon, in a blacked out Escalade. And I just look at myself and I say, bro, how have I not made it yet? How have I not made it? I should just give up. I told myself, look at this. This is embarrassing, right? I'm waiting for the bus stop. I just missed my bus. And he pulls up in a G-Wagon. I should just give up. But then I told myself, I think I heard it somewhere on TikTok, that right when you feel like giving up is when you're truly being tested to see if you will make it. And if you can persevere through this valley of darkness and feeling like you don't know what the next step is and you can't figure it out, if you can just make it through that, you'll reach the other side. So that's what I did. I went home. I signed my first client in February. I made my first $2,000 month. That was more than I had ever made in a month at Subway. And this was the first month that I actually had a client and that I was actually making money. And I had already made more than I ever had at my job that I worked at for 2 years. This was my first real proof of concept, not just, oh yeah, this guy says he's interested or this guy. No, I was paid. I was paid thousands of dollars to do the service that I was providing for this guy. I'll tell you right now, from October to February, I made $0. February, first 2,000. And it was so worth it. And I just got so motivated. And I grinded until April. Now, what happened in April, Josh? Why is April so significant? This was my first $10,000 month. It took me 6 months from starting with absolutely nothing, not even understanding the business model, to doing 10K a month. I had multiple clients and each of them were paying me multiple thousands of dollars a month for something that I was able to do completely by myself, pure 100% profit margins. And it didn't take me that long to learn. The hardest part was getting my foot in the door. And once I did that, it was over. Now, I bought a few things with this money. I took a little trip to Florida, as you guys may have seen or not. I did a few videos with Brez, and he's a great guy. I love him. But other than that, I didn't really spend too much. I wasn't a big spender. I kind of kept that money. I reinvested it. I paid for teachers and coaches. And I'll tell you right now, I've spent a lot of money on the info space learning about new strategies and teaching myself so I could really be the best that I could be. Whether it was coaches for ads, whether it was coaches for outreach, whether it was coaches for inbound, whether it was personal branding or just anything that you can think of, I tried to learn it. And I tried to implement all of these strategies into my business so it would be the best that it could possibly be. And I'll be honest, I don't regret paying for any of those things, because in just 2 more months, I had my first $20,000 month. It took me 6 months to go from 0 to 10K. And it only took me 2 more months to go from 10 to 20K. And now I was at the point where I can't just do this all myself, or at least I didn't want to. And I felt privileged. And I felt that, some of these tasks I'm too good for that. And that was my first mistake, is I started outsourcing really early. I wanted to live that dream of, hey, I just sit at home and I do nothing all day and I make all this money, like I can just chill and all the money's made for me. So I started outsourcing, and I found some good people to outsource to, and I offloaded the media buying. I offloaded the actual running of the ads to one of my friends, and he did a good job. The problem was I got unmotivated. I felt like I was making all this money and I didn't have to do anything. And my progress stagnated. This is the first time I ever plateaued. I had only ever been going up, and it wasn't until I outsourced that I started to plateau. And typically when you outsource, you're able to go up. You're able to handle so much more work and get so many more clients and be so much more productive. But for me, it was the opposite. Without the constant drive and the need to get better, because I was so broke, I stagnated and I stopped making more. I just stayed where I was. But now I had higher expenses. So I'll tell you right now, that scared me. I got scared. And it was just about this time where I bought my Corvette. I saved up, and this was my first big purchase to myself. And I put a lot of money down. I bought a 2018 Z06. It had less than 5,000 miles, literally showroom condition, brand new. And I love that car. But it put me in a hard situation, because I just outsourced people for my agency, put a ton of money into this car. Now I have a car payment, and my agency isn't growing. I need to figure it out now. I had kind of put myself in the same point of desire and drive that I had before I'd even started. But how am I still hungry? I have everything that I want. I have the car, I have the job, I have the work. All of it's done for me. I can just relax and live. And I'll tell you right now, when you hit that first 10K, it's not going to change how you think it's going to change. Your life isn't going to change how you think it's going to change. And you need to be ready to stay hungry and stay driven. And don't make the same mistake that I did of thinking it's all made for you and thinking you beat the game. You cracked the code, because you didn't. It's going to be a hard reality when you start to plateau like I did, because you stop trying and putting in the effort like I did. And you're going to have to take a step back and fix things. And that's always a hit to your ego, is taking a step back. And this is when I learned so many of the systems that I put in place now. I learned systemizing my onboarding. I learned systemizing my closing. I learned systemizing the media buying. I learned systemizing the reporting. I learned everything from A to Z of getting a client and running their ads. I put a system in place for it so that it was constantly repeatable and it didn't cost me so much money to outsource and take so much time learning all these things. I put everything together the right way. And when we did that, the clients just started coming. Boom, $2,000 invoice. Boom, $4,000 invoice. Boom, another two in the same day. 8,000 by the end of the month. We were just printing money. And this it motivated me for the first time in so long. I had everything that I really wanted, and I didn't have to worry. But this time I was motivated because I saw the fruits of my labor actually coming true. Now I'm just kind of the guy above, making sure everyone's doing what they're supposed to be doing and all the systems are running in place. And if anything needs to be fixed, I'll fix it. But other than that, you guys do what you need to do, and I'm making sure it's done the right way. So after all of these trial and errors and finally finding the perfect mix of working and being involved and offloading tasks that didn't really push the needle, this is what my life kind of looks like now. I can wake up almost whenever I want. I check my bank account and it's up. I don't have to worry. I take my friends out to dinner. I go to dinner all the time. That's probably my favorite thing. I spend a lot of money on dinner. I like treating myself. I'm able to drive whatever car I want. I still have the Z06. I might trade it for an M3 just to test it out, because when you put the systems in place and you're confident that they work, money stops being a worry for you. I don't know how much gas costs. I don't know how much a meal at Wendy's costs. I don't even care about what the bill is because I know that I'm so confident in the systems I put in place that it doesn't matter because the money is going to keep coming. Because there is no uncertainty about, is next month going to be good? Of course next month's going to be good because I'm going to make it good. I'm literally able to help all the people in my life with whatever they need help with. No, I'm not making $200 million a month, right? I'm not that rich, right? I can't buy you a yacht, but the little things, right? Oh, you forgot your card? Yeah, don't worry about it. Oh, you need help paying this bill? Yeah, I got you. Oh, you want some decorations for your room? Oh, I'll go shopping. I'm bored, right? Like, I'll go get them for you. You want some money for gas? Sure. And it doesn't bother me. And I love giving back to people. I love supporting my family, supporting my friends, and giving them the opportunity to see the reality that you can change your life and that you don't have to put yourself in a box. So I hope I kind of showed a little bit more about who I am and kind of my story with everything, my timeline, and hopefully you guys just know me a little bit more. I know I post a ton of videos talking about, the agency and how to improve it and fix specific bottlenecks, whether it's acquisition or, retention, things like that. You can always go check those out. They're super helpful. But I want you guys to know that the only difference between me and you, or someone who makes no money or someone who makes a ton of money, is the amount of dedication and consistency they have to doing it every day. The only reason that I was able to make it work is because I put my back against the wall and I gave myself no other option to make it work besides showing up every day for myself. So yeah, I just figured I'd show a little bit about who I am, kind of my story, and how everything really came to be. I know you guys see the cars and all the things that I post, but what did I start out as, right? I was just like you guys. And the truth is, the only difference between me then and me now is the fact that I put in hours and hours and hours of consistency and work. If you can decide to stick with something, it'll happen. It'll come true. Your dreams will come true. The only thing you have to do is show up for yourself every single day. You guys probably know this, but I got a bunch of super in-depth videos on my channel that break down the actual systems that I'm using in my agency so that you can implement exactly what I did into your agency as well. And honestly, I'm not trying to toot my own horn here, but the stuff in those videos is a lot better than the info that a lot of people have to pay for. So if you want to get some free sauce and actually learn, not just, get sold a pipe dream, go watch those videos and implement them. Go take action and just show up every day. But yeah, other than that, I'll catch y'all on the next one. Make sure to check everything out, subscribe, and follow me on Instagram. I appreciate you, and I'll talk to you soon.